Hello YouTube, it's me, Brittany, and today we're going to talk about the importance of having a counselor in the first couple of years of your transition. Now, before I do that, I want to thank every single one of you guys who've already subscribed. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. If this is your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button below. I do lots of LGBT topics, lots of trans-related topics. I also answer any kind of trans-related questions that you have, but you can't do any of those things. You can't see any of those things if you don't hit subscribe. Now, getting into our topic, I had a therapist slash counselor for the first 3.5 years of my transition, and I think that it was probably the most vital piece of my transition once I finally got started. I think I came out and I started to transition, and the first 6, 7, or 8 months by myself were just hell, constantly dealing with dysphoria, constantly dealing with being misgendered, didn't really know how to handle all of those emotions going on. I didn't know how to find HRT. All of those things were just a really big frustration to me. And so because of all that, I basically was pushing myself deeper into a depression, and till I put myself into a hospital. After I got out of the hospital, I was able to find a therapist, a good counselor. I actually went through 3 different therapists before I found the good one. So make sure you find a therapist that suits your needs and not someone that's looking out for what they want out of you. Look for a therapist who listens to you and go, okay, we're gonna work towards what you want. And so that's I had the first couple therapists just didn't really vibe well with me. I found a really good one. For my third one, and I stuck with her for almost 3.5 years, and the things that she helped me with are incredibly helpful for the first few years of every transition for either male to female, or female to male. It doesn't really matter, because one of the most important things that this counselor and this therapist can do for you is not only give you the ability to talk and feel and express your emotions, but they're your window to an HRT doctor. For a lot of you people who are where do I get HRT, what can I do, how do I get it, I can't get prescriptions. I could not find a doctor to save my life when I was going to Planned Parenthood all the way in St. Louis when I lived in Missouri, which was a 2.5 hour drive, just to try to get any kind of medical care or any kind of things at all. Once I found this counselor, she was able to do some research and find me a good doctor who would treat me and give me the HRT meds that I need and keep me from being able to have to go all the way to St. Louis. I still had to drive about an hour to this doctor, but it was a little bit shorter. Also, the cost of my meds were kept down because she was able to explain the low income to the doctor. So that's one of the biggest pieces that a counselor or a therapist is going to be able to help you with in your first 6, 7 months of transitioning. Is they're going to get an idea of where you want to go, and then they're going to help you get there. And the first things they're going to help you with is they're going to help you find a good doctor that's going to be able to help you get the HRT meds that you need. Now, I started off in I basically, once I got to this therapist, I didn't have to do a 6 month consultations with her before, because I had already had a history and come out of the hospital. And so we basically, within 2 to 3 months after started talking to her, I was already getting HRT meds. So that's the first thing that is really important that a counselor is going to help you with, and I think you should go and get a therapist and a counselor in your first few years of your transition. And another thing, which is also going to be really important, is a counselor is going to help you battle or deal with that dysphoria. Do you guys see this cat here that just floated into? That was funny. Anyways, that was weird. Where was I? Oh, okay, I know where I am. Strange. So another thing that a counselor is going to do is they're going to help you deal with battling dysphoria. They're going to help you come up with techniques on how to deal with being misgendered, how to approach being misgendered in a healthy, safe way that's not going to get you mentally hurting or not going to get you physically hurt as well. So I definitely was thankful that I had someone to come and vent out all of my frustrations to. And really, that's the best battle for dysphoria, is getting it all out, saying, this is what's bothering me, I hate when people do this, I hate when people do that, and having someone listen to you and say, hey, so these feelings are what happened, so how can we fight those feelings? Because that's really what needs. How do we battle those feelings to keep them from having the dramatic effect that they're having on you. And a lot of the ways that you fight those feelings is getting it out. And sometimes you don't have the ability to get it out, so having a therapist that you can spit all that stuff out to is definitely one of the big benefits of having a therapist in the first couple of years. And the last thing that I think was one of the most beneficial things for me when it came to having a therapist and a counselor in my first couple of years was, I had a huge separation with my parents and a lot of my family who didn't really accept me and didn't really want to accept me. And my therapist was a huge piece in rebuilding that bridge. My therapist reached out to my family. My therapist said, hey, like, you don't have to come in for a session with Brittany, but come in and have a session with me and tell me what you think. What are your feelings? So that way she could basically hear what my parents were feeling and then come and tell me, and then she could also tell my parents what I was feeling, and then eventually what happened? We had a joint meeting, lots of tears, and now I have a building relationship with my family and my parents, as opposed to a relationship where they didn't even communicate with me for almost 2 years. So, please, if you're in your first couple of years of transition, I know that you might be struggling. There are definitely therapists that will help you out financially. The therapist I saw, if you're in Missouri, in central Missouri, it's at the lake, they never charged me. She kept a tally of what my account was, but each session was $20. So I would show up for $20, and I would do a $20 session for an hour. And if I didn't have the money to pay, she didn't make me pay. I actually just paid her off last year because I finally had the money, and she was like, hey, here's what's in your account. Like, but she never like chased me down. She honestly was never ever going to come after the money. I chose to pay her because, well, one, I needed her to ESA my cat so that she could live with me, and two, I appreciated what she did for me. It was very, very helpful in my first few years, and it's made me who I am and how strong I am today, and it's also made me be able to help other people. So I'm very thankful. So I was glad to be able to pay her back, but she was never gonna be mad if I didn't. So like, there are therapists out there that can help you. Please just look for them, find one that suits you, and be ready to be open with that person and build and grow, because the more you fix yourself internally and you help build those relationships that have broken because you've transitioned, unfortunately, the healthier your transition is going to be in the long run. Anyways, I've rambled a little bit here, but I love all of you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, you can find me on Facebook at Brittany Rose, Insta at Brittany Rose as well. You can find me on Twitter at Brittany Rose 2. I love all of you guys. Be safe out there and have a wonderful, happy holidays. Bye-bye.